TG Geeks, episode 31, July 27th, 2015. Who knew the news was news you could use? What? Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we are coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
And I'm Ben Raggington, also in the TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona.
Let's get to some news.
Well, a lot of people have been very concerned about JJ's approach with the new Star Wars. Everybody's kind of gun-shy about what he did with Star Trek. Well, we got to remember, he's a huge Star Wars fan. He loves the original trilogy, so he came out and said that he's taking some very serious efforts to connect his movie, The Force Awakens, to the original trilogy. And now, according to Thompson on Hollywood, that was at the San Diego Comic-Con over the weekend, it was said that JJ's mandate from day one was authenticity and being as true to the original trilogy as possible. I'm kind of reading that means not so many lens flares. And he felt, yeah, really. And he felt the prequels were flawed by the fact that they had every CG tool known to mankind and used everything at their disposal. I use the metaphor of disco when the synthesizer came out and everyone was using it in any way possible. And I think JJ wanted to reconnect with how the original films were made. And this is something I actually really approve of, because one of the beautiful things about the original trilogy is that everything was done with practical sets. There was very little CG work, if any. In fact, I don't think CG actually existed in that day, even though there were
limited, probably very
limited, more computer-controlled effects,
right,
but less computer-generated.
Right.
So I'm actually really excited about that. And from everything that we've seen so far in just the trailers, looks like that he's really trying to go for an actual set feeling. And, you know, I want to refer back to a trailer that we posted that came from San Diego Comic-Con. I think we mentioned a couple of episodes ago, where JJ Films has some behind the scenes from Force Awakens, and everything was a practical set. So in that respect, I'm actually kind of happy that he's taking this approach. Now,
Could be fun.
I think I'm getting more and more excited about it. I think this is going to turn out to be a really good movie that is more in the spirit of the original trilogy that George Lucas had created. Now, something else that people have been a bit of a quandary about is the expanded Star Wars universe. Now, when it was announced that Disney was going to be making new trilogy, or a brand new Star Wars trilogy, it was also stated that the entire expanded universe, of which consisted of novels and comic books, was all going to be chucked, which in a sense kind of makes sense. So there's already some new books that are being written, and this already flies in the face of some of the stories that we were originally reading. When Empire Strikes Back first came out, there were some stories that kind of hinted at small Imperial resistance fighters, shall we say, or resistance groups that were fighting for the Empire. But for the most part, everything was well and good now that the New Republic had been established. Well, not so. At the end of the special edition Return of the Jedi, we were seeing a lot of planets in the Star Wars galaxy celebrating the fall of the Empire. Well, there's a new book called Aftermath by Chuck Wendig, and it's going to show us exactly what happened next according to Disney's new canon, and it's not the happy ending we all thought it was. Now, Aftermath is one of the first post-Jedi, pre-Force Awakens tie-ins, so this is one of those books that's going to fall in between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. That's all part of this Disney's new Journey to the Force Awakens plan to help flesh out the 30 years between episodes 6 and episode 7. And while there have been a few hints and teases, there seems to be more stuff that's coming out, including the fact that it establishes that the old expanded universe of the idea of the New Republic being set up in the wake of the Emperor's death Not quite so, because Entertainment Weekly has now released an extensive excerpt from the novel's opening that tells us pretty much what happened immediately after those celebrating crowds on Coruscant when they brought down the statue of the Emperor at the end of Return of the Jedi. And I'm not going to go into the full thing, but let's just say that that celebration is very short-lived, and I will just leave it at that. We're going to post a link to this on our website so you can read it at your own leisure, because the excerpt is actually pretty big. It's a good-sized excerpt, so I don't want to go through the whole thing right now. But, yeah, I'm kind of interested now that the entire Star Wars universe is being completely redesigned. So, well, it's J.J. Abrams who started this off. We can all call this an alternate timeline?
Yub.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, get rid of the yubs. Now, also just recently reported, X-Men and Fantastic Four, both movie franchises that are currently owned by 20th Century Fox. Bryan Singer, who was currently working on the new X-Men movie, has been hinting at the fact that we might get a crossover. Yes. In a recent interview, Singer, who's, like I said, currently busy filming next year's X-Men Apocalypse, revealed it's been initial talks of a live-action X-Men and Fantastic Four crossover. And he did say that these ideas are in play. That will be a natural matchup because they're both ensemble films and there is a natural mechanism by which to do it. Now, the first thought that ran through my head when I saw this is possibly 20th Century Fox's attempt at taking a dig at Marvel.
Maybe.
Given the big interlocking stories and universe building that they're doing, I kind of have to wonder, especially since Marvel canceled the Fantastic Four comic book line, I'm wondering if this is 20th Century Fox's way of saying, okay, you're going to be that way about it? We've got something up our sleeves too, and they're going to start maybe trying to tie in Fantastic Four that. Of course, everything hinges on one thing. Are these movies going to be a hit?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if they bomb...
doesn't Marvel have to approve script?
No, they have zero impact. The only thing that they have is their name flashes at the top. Because remember, these two properties were sold off to movie studios at the time Marvel was undergoing financial difficulties. There was no such thing as Marvel Studios. So they sold off Fantastic Four. They sold off Spider-Man, which they renegotiated back through Sony. And they sold off X-Men. So 20th Century Fox has got those two properties as well as a third, which we're going to talk about shortly. So, no, Marvel has got no say in this. And I kind of get the feeling that they would very much like to get them back. So I think us true blue Marvel fans would very much like to see these movies fail simply for the opportunity for Marvel to get them back, But
yeah, unfortunately, you kind of sour the brand.
Yeah, in a way you do, but look what happened with Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man completely tanked after the second Tobey Maguire movie. Well, maybe the first Andrew, whatever his name is, movie. That one was okay, but the second one was considered largely to be a piece of garbage, as well as the Tobey third Spider-Man film. So that may have soured the franchise, but now everybody's got great hopes pinned on what Marvel's going to do with Spider-Man now that they got it back. Same thing could happen with X-Men and Fantastic Four if these completely fall apart.
Yeah.
Marvel could get them back and then reintegrate them into their cinematic universe. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, in the world of reboot rage, something that has been talked about for a long time that was going to be rebooted, and it looks like that news has come back. It's a remake of the dystopian 1976 science fiction film Logans Run.
Run, Logan, run!
Yes, run away! Run for your lives.
Run
for
your
your lives. Yes, has been inside joke, people. This has been in the works for what feels like bloody well forever, and that's true because we discussed this on Slice. Even I remember.
Oh yeah, that's a long time.
It's been going for a long time now. Now, over the years, numerous directors and stars have been linked to this project, which seems like it was never gonna happen.
Run for your life.
Yeah, I know. Really? Well, now it's taking a big step forward, though. Who knows? This is one we'll finally see the theaters. Because according to The Hollywood Reporter, Warner Brothers, and they were the studio that has been attempting to make this remake since 2000, has hired Simon Kinberg to write the story treatment for this latest attack on what I think is actually a classic. And he will also produce with Joel Silver, though a writer to be hired down the road will ultimately handle the full script. Now, Kinberg is a writer and producer behind a bunch of superhero movies, including the upcoming Fantastic Four and X-Men Apocalypse, as well as Deadpool. That's the third 20th Century Fox I'm going to talk about later. He also dabbles in the expanding Star Wars universe, as well as the anthology films and the animated series Star Wars Rebels. So he's really got his fingers in a lot of properties right now.
Interesting.
Which makes him not a bad writer. But I got to be honest, I'm not exactly thrilled with the idea of them doing a Logan's Run remake.
Yeah, all the remakes and all the reboots, I really liked Logan's Run. It had its flaws, but it was classic. I mean,
yes.
If it were to be made today and had not been made before, it would be incredible to be able to make today because you could do so many things. But since it's already been made, how many reboots and remakes have we seen that have just tanked and then really kind of, as I said earlier, soured the brand?
Well, one of the biggest remakes, I don't know if you want to call it that, was the TV series Logan's Run, which I have a terrible feeling that my Fusion Patrol co-host Eugene is going to want to do a series on, which I really don't want to do, because I've seen...
Shut up!
I really would like to, but I can't about this subject because Logan's Run, the TV series, was a piece of crap. I saw 4 episodes at best, and it was junk. And I think I said this to Arkle on the Facebook page. The big issue that I've got with Logan's Run is, okay, is it dated? Yeah. I mean, it came out. It's 1976. This was before the big return of sci-fi films, compliments of Star Wars, really started. The effects are really cheap. It's very dated, and yet in its dated way, it still stands the test of time.
Yeah, it does.
So I don't want to see it necessarily be remade. Let it be what it is, a dated piece of work that still kind of holds up. So personally, I'm not on board with the remake, but if they're going to reboot it, we'll talk about it. And I hate to say it, but we'll probably see it.
We'll probably see it.
Yeah. Now, I had hinted at this a couple of times now. The third 20th century property that has something to do with Marvel, Deadpool. Now, Deadpool. Now, I'm not sure.
Pool of Dead.
I don't think you're really all that familiar with it. Now,
I don't know anything.
Okay,
about
we both know in the DC/Arrow universe a character named Deathstroke, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't his real name Slade Wilson or something to that effect?
Oh, yes.
Well, there is a Marvel character named Wade Wilson. Ooh, God, the coincidences are just way too scary. And he suffers a really, really bad accident, and science has...
And becomes Slade.
Well, no. He becomes the $6 million man. I kid, people. I kid. Because they do kind of take their hands on him, and they operate on him a little bit, fill him with some super serum a la Captain America, and turn him into a very anti-hero version of Deathstroke. But in this particular case, he's called Deadpool. This guy is wisecracking. He's foul-mouthed. He is a bit of a vigilante. But boy, is he a lot of fun. I think of him as this way. Imagine a Norman Rockwell painting. It's Thanksgiving, and all your Marvel heroes are around the table. You've got Captain America there. He's about to carve the turkey. But all of a sudden, in comes rushing in Deadpool with a live turkey saying, "Wait, let me behead the sucker." That's Deadpool.
I see.
He's completely mad, and he's going to be played by Ryan Reynolds in an attempt to possibly redeem himself after what many people thought was a debacle from Captain America. Now, Ryan was at the San Diego Comic-Con, and they actually aired the trailer. Someone filmed the trailer in the audience, and that has leaked online. So I will say this. We're going to post the link for this bootlegged trailer on our website.
I'm surprised it's not online already anyway.
Really, I am kind of surprised by that, especially given the fact that they showed it, and the audience went so mad they almost raised the building. and they demanded to see it again and again. I mean, so they ended up showing it twice because the audience demand was that hot. Nerdist Chris Hardwick was moderating that panel and said the place went bonkers. And I mean bonkers in a great way. So the anticipation of this is really high. And again, this is a 20th century property, so he's not going to integrate at all with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, like I said, we do have a bootleg trailer. Someone was in the audience at San Diego Comic-Con when they filmed it, so we're going to put that on there. You have to look at it very carefully.
It's not ours, folks.
It's not ours. No, I wish we could take credit for that, but it isn't. However, if you've got a good enough computer monitor, you should be able to make a decent sense out of what's going on. And I would say this about the way Ryan Reynolds looks like after his accident and after he's turned into Deadpool. When he's out of his costume, he looks like an avocado that just had sex with an older avocado.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, that's definitely something to take a look at. And speaking of trailers, I just want to refer to 4 trailers that we posted on our website. We shared a second trailer for The Good Dinosaur.
Yay.
Yes,
it's much better.
Oh, absolutely.
Much
yeah,
better.
I'm really excited about what they're doing there. It has a real sense of a story now.
It has potential.
I think it's got some really great potential, so I'm really excited about it. We also put on our website a trailer for a new Ultraman movie that is being made. Now, Ultraman, for people who don't know, he was co-created or created by the producers who made Godzilla, if I'm not mistaken. And the series primarily focuses around a group of giant heroes that were all part of the quote-unquote Ultra family, with the purposes of fighting a variety of evil monsters whose only goal was death and destruction. And yes, the Ultraman series was created by, and I'm going to pronounce this all wrong, so please forgive me, Eiji Tsubayara. Oh boy, that was a tough one.
You shouldn't even have tried.
I should not have even tried because I'm sure I offended a lot of people everywhere. Send your hate mail to ben@benkeith.com. Anyway, they've decided to make a big large screen remake of this, probably in light of the Godzilla movie and Pacific Rim and Pacific Rim 2 that Guillermo del Toro is currently working on. We have the trailer on our website. It's interesting. That's all I shall say about that. So people can kind of, make your own judgment. We also posted on our website a new trailer for the new James Bond movie, Spectre, which looks really, really interesting. And for those people who don't know what Spectre's about, James Bond receives a cryptic message from his past. Well, and everything about this particular Bond that Daniel Craig is doing is about his past. So take that as you will. And this message causes him to go rogue, first to Mexico City and then later to Rome, where he then meets a beautiful widow whose late husband was an infamous criminal. And it is here that Bond discovers the existence of a nefarious organization known as Spectre. And I'm kind of wondering, are we going to have a bald man petting a cat?
You never know.
I would welcome that. I think that could be a lot of fun. So you can check out the trailer for that on our website, and we're going to be posting, reposting all the links to these as part of our show notes just to make life easy for everybody. And then the last new trailer that I want to quickly touch on is something that's being made by Larry Nemeczek and our good friend Neil Halford of the Swords and Circusry Studios. And you can, if you want to listen to our interview with Neil, just check out TG Geeks Webcast episode 24. And they are working on something called Con of Wrath. And all that I will simply say is there was a convention that was supposed to happen in Houston, and it didn't quite go as planned. Hence, the Con of Wrath. The trailer for this is also on our website, and the link will be there as well as a link to Larry Nemeczek's website if you wish to learn more about the Con of Wrath.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Here are a few selected birthdays for July 27th through August 2nd. July 27th. Nikolai Coster-Waldau is 44.
New Amsterdam!
Yeah, well, and Game of Thrones.
And Game of Thrones. Oh, that little thing?
That little thing, yeah. Norman Lear
Is
92.
Is he still kicking?
I guess he is.
Holy
I suppose.
cow. Well, good for him.
July 28th, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis would have been 85. July 29th, Geddy Lee is 61.
I'm getting really old, but they're going to be here in town on July 27th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. And Will Wheaton.
What?
42.
Little Will Wheaton?
Little Will Wheaton is
from
42.
Stand By Me and Wesley Crusher he's 42?
Yes, he is 42.
Thank you for reminding me how old I am.
David Warner is 73 on July
and he's
29th.
still an awesome actor.
Yep. July 30th, Arnold Schwarzenegger is 67.
And he'll be back.
Simon Baker, 45. Christopher Nolan is 44. And Lawrence Fishburne is 53. On July 31st, Dean Cain is 48. Richard Griffiths would have been 67. Rest in peace. And J.K. Rowling is 49 on July 31st.
Now that's far out that the actor who would play Uncle Vern in the Harry Potter series, it has the same birth date as J.K. Rowling.
Yep.
Far out.
August the 1st, Jason Momoa is 35. And August the 2nd, Edward Furlong is 37. At least, hopefully, he grew up.
With any luck.
Wes Craven is 75. And you were talking about Warner Studios. Jack Warner was born on August the 2nd, 1892.
Kind of hard to imagine Hollywood industry kind of going back that far.
Yeah.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Forget about whether Han shot first. He did. Is it true that Han Solo teamed up with a 6-foot green rabbit? Did Darth Vader profess a devotion to the immortal gods of the Sith? And did Leia's unhealthy attraction to her brother grow for years? Ew. Hi, I'm voice actor Michael Corley, and I want to answer these questions and more on the Voxbox Star Wars Comic Book Podcast. Each Voxbox episode covers classic Star Wars comics, starting with the original Marvel series in 1977 all the way to the present day. So tune in, have some fun, and may the Force be with you at VoxboxPodcast.com.
Head over and give a listen to Voxbox Star Wars Podcast.
That's a mouthful.
It is. It's kind of hard to say. And now it's time for some listener feedback. Well, this week we had a bunch of likes on the Facebook page. And
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you for all of the likes on the Facebook page. We really appreciate that. And we also have thank you to Brian, a.k.a. Arkle, our faithful listener and commenter. Thank you so much, Brian, even if we miss him occasionally. He had 2 comments on our Facebook episode number 30, and the first one was about Roberto Orsi and being 42, and he said, I'm sure he thinks the government had something to do with that, and he hashtagged Orsi is a nutcase. How about that?
Okay.
I don't think he likes Roberto
I don't think
Orsi.
he digs him very much. So, Brian, do you wish to elaborate on that? Please tell
Why
us
you
what
don't
you're
like Roberto Orsi.
Yeah, what are you really feeling? Okay, yeah,
exactly. And also, there was a comment that we had. He said about 49 minutes into the episode where we were talking with Jeff Patton, he said it reminded him of the old joke, "Oh, you're an actor. Which restaurant?"
Yeah, that's kind of the direction we were all going with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, Jeff Patton said that they were at a cheesecake factory and saw this waitress. And of course, I think some like, well, of course, all actresses and actors, they all work at like restaurants and Cheesecake Factory. And if you have any doubt about that, just watch Big Bang Theory.
Exactly.
They joke about it all the time.
Exactly. Thank you, Brian. We really do appreciate the feedback, and it lets us know someone is listening to our episodes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. And if you like our show or even dislike it, you can comment on our Facebook page YouTube episodes or at tggeeks.com, and you can receive a shout out on a future episode. Or you can call our listener feedback line and we will play your comment on air. 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357.
This is Mark Biaggi, and you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks webcast. You name it, they'll talk about it.
Okay, in some science news, this week, famed physicist Stephen Hawking helped launch a major new effort to search for signs of intelligent alien life in the cosmos, even though he thinks it's likely that such creatures would try to destroy humanity. I find this little... I have a problem with him wanting to do this if he has such a bleak outlook on what E.T. would be all about.
I don't know.
I mean, since 2010, Hawking has spoken publicly about his fears that an advanced alien civilization would have no problem wiping out the human race the way a human might wipe out a colony of ants. And that's something that we've been seeing in a lot of very, I think, kind of negative science fiction television shows, that we would just be viewed as vermin. So I don't exactly agree with his take on that. Nonetheless, at a media event announcing the new project, he noted that human beings have a terrible history of mistreating and even massacring other human creatures that are less technologically advanced. Why would an alien civilization be any different? Wow. Now that speaks badly of the E.T. neighbors. So exactly. I don't exactly hold to that. Nonetheless, it seems Hawking's desire to know if there is intelligent life elsewhere in the universe sort of trumps that fear, because on July 20th, he was part of a public announcement of a new initiative called Breakthrough Listen, which organizers said will be the most powerful search ever initiated for signs of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. Now, I'm just curious, do you take any kind of side with what Hawking is saying regarding extraterrestrial life?
I don't know. I have to think about that, because I think that humans certainly have gotten a bad rap, because we certainly are. Well, look at the day the Earth stood still. So it's a perfect example.
And we're talking the movie.
Yeah.
The original.
Yes, the original. And it shows where humankind has been and where it could go. But I think that maybe other species that are intelligent enough to come to our planet are that far advanced. I don't know that they would necessarily want to destroy us, but you never know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't side with that. Nonetheless, I am happy that he is at least pursuing this project. Now, in a very similarly related story, NASA released something really, really huge. In fact, something that is so big, it is actually a little bit bigger than Earth. Yes, NASA's Kepler Space Telescope has spotted the most Earth-like alien planet yet discovered, a world called Kepler 452b, and it's just slightly bigger than our own Earth and orbits a sun-like star that's about the same distance Earth circles the sun, which puts it right in the Goldilocks zone.
What they call the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
Yes. Just right.
Just about right. It's the first possible rocky habitable planet around a solar-type star, said Jeff Coughlin. He's the Kepler research scientist at SETI in Mountain View, California. And he said during a news briefing that we're getting closer and closer to finding a true twin like the Earth. Now, there's much more to this story. This is all on space.com. We're going to post the link on our website. But I find this exciting. And I know that one of the things that they were going to look at is that the sun that Kepler orbits is older than our own sun. So they want to kind of use that also as a way to determine how our own sun might age and what that might mean for life on our own planet.
Yep.
So I think there's some really excellent scientific study that is
at least some good science that can come out of that.
I think there's some really good science. Now, moving from science to toys. Now, name me a sci-fi nerd who doesn't love his toys. And if anybody who ever comes to our house, they'd see that, yeah, Keith and I have plenty. But I don't know if I would want this one because I don't know where I'd put it. Hot Toys. I was going to say Hoy Toys. My goodness. Hoy Toys. Hot Toys previously teased a massive 1/6 scale Millennium Falcon.
Ooh,
There
Lord.
is a photo of it. We'll be putting this on our website as
Put
well.
it in the backyard.
I know that. Yeah, you'd have to. But I'd hate for it to be sort of subjected to bad weather.
The elements, yes.
Yes. And now this toy was to match the company's 1/6 scale Star Wars figure. Who knew?
Who knew?
I didn't know they made a 1/6 Star Wars figure.
That's news you can use.
That's right. This 18-foot replica of Han and Chewie's ship is being put on display at the Ancom and Games Convention in Hong Kong. Okay, everybody, get your airline tickets now. There are 6 photos of the creation online, and again, this entire story will be on our website if you want to take a look at it. And it looks like it might take a crane to send this thing flying through the air. The quality is amazing. In fact, it looks like something ILM might have made. I'm really impressed with it, and as much as I love toys, I kind of get the feeling that that's not something I'd want to own because, again, I wouldn't know where to put it, and I wouldn't want it outside. So, now, on to some TV news, and this is for all you people who love to cut the cable. Apple has been in talks with broadcast networks over its rumored streaming TV service, and apparently it's really beginning to pick up some steam because as part of a push for local programming on the service, Apple is said to be talking to ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC. Now, those are the biggies. Those are the biggies about gaining rights to local affiliate feeds, which allow Apple to for negotiation only with the networks rather than having to do so with each individual affiliate. Oh, I love this. And it said that CBS and Fox are both said to have nearly completed deals with their affiliates. Disney and CBS will reportedly be the first companies to sign on. Well, that's kind of a duh.
Yeah.
If you think about it. I mean, Disney, I'm not so sure about CBS, but Disney, let me see, they are in bed with Apple, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. Just
in a
a
way.
little.
Just a tiny bit. So that doesn't really necessarily surprise me. But anyway, Disney and CBS are the first companies to sign on to Apple's service in order to get it off the ground, with Apple supposedly aiming at a late fall launch. So I'm really keeping
That would be cool.
Oh, I'm really excited about this. I know that everybody was really hoping for this at WWDC, but it didn't happen. So we're all kind of keeping our fingers crossed that I think it's Apple does their next big keynote thing in September.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's like that. So I'm really hoping that we will see something then.
Yes.
Now, into actual TV shows. And for those people who have seen the trailer for Legends of Tomorrow, I'm sure everybody's kind of like, wait a minute.
Who is
Sarah
that?
Lance? She's dead. Well, apparently not. Arrow executive producer Mark Guggenheim revealed to E! Online that we're not going to have to wait until the premiere of Legends of Tomorrow, which isn't until January.
Oh, my.
I know that's far too far away. In order to see how Black Canary / Sarah Lance, played by Katie Lotz, is to be resurrected. Well, I think we all kind of guessed that. It's going to be the Lazarus Pool. That's what helped save.
She's getting a little ripe right now, though.
Maybe a little bit, but we know that's how it saved Oliver's sister.
Yeah.
Thea
But she wasn't quite dead quite as long.
No, but and that's the one big thing. So let me just read the story as it is. The White Canary will be launched in the first few episodes of Arrow, so we're not going to have that long to wait. The season 4 of Arrow begins in October, and by the time we get to the 8th episode, which should air late November or early December, the CW will have a superhero crossover event with Legends of Tomorrow and Flash.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot to think about. Guggenheim added that our 4 to 8, our typical crossover episode will be doing a lot of heavy lifting in terms of getting the Legends of Tomorrow characters set up and also seeing where they are in relation to the Flash. Yes, that's been the regular pattern. I have a theory, and that is in an attempt to maybe make good now that Malcolm is the new Ra's al Ghul. I have a funny feeling that he has Sarah's body dug up and flown over to where the League is and just have her, tossed into the Lazarus Pool. That's my guess.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking to it. We'll just have to wait and see. But in any case, like I said, Arrow and Flash will both begin their new seasons in September 4, and DC's Legend of Tomorrow will debut mid-season on the CW. Now, moving over to Fox, and we talked about this a little bit at dinner, and I know last night, and I know that you were completely just flummoxed by it. Crossovers are the hot thing, and Fox is not about to be left out in the cold. Can you imagine Ichabod Crane and Seeley Booth solving a mystery together? Or what about Dr. Temperance Brennan working with Abby Mills?
No.
Well, you're going to get it anyway, because Entertainment Weekly has learned that Fox is planning to make and this is what it says in the story, mind-bending crossover episodes between Sleepy Hollow and Bones.
So it'll be Sleepy Bones.
Sleepy Bones. Yeah, that'd be the only possible title, unless the bones are hollow.
Or Hollow Bones.
Hollow Bones.
There we go.
Hey, I think we're onto something there. That's right, people. A history mining fantasy thriller, or the blah mouthful. The history mining fantasy thriller Sleepy Hollow is being creatively meshed with the long-running crime-solving dramedy Bones to cross over the characters. You know what this means? It means we got to catch up on Bones now.
I guess.
We got, and it's not a bad show.
No, we just
kind of
too much.
There was too much. We were watching too many shows at the time, so we weren't able to kind of really follow through. But I think now that, especially now, they're really not watching much of anything else.
Yeah.
There is our catch-up show. We were talking after we had finished watching Grimm. We just, what are we going to catch up on? We got nothing to catch up on now. Oh, here it is. Bones. There it is. Anyway, the crossover.
McCoy? Dr. McCoy?
Yeah. Well, if Brennan and Booth actually have a lot of kids,
they could have. Yeah.
There's your Bones McCoy.
Yeah.
Right there. That'd be the real McCoy too. You knew I had to say that.
The real McCoy.
Yeah. Well, anyway, as far as this crossover goes, it will be across 2 episodes, 1 on each show, which is sort of the typical thing. Ideally, this was planned to happen early this fall, yet due to the complicated logistics involved, the crossover is now being penned for later in the 2015-2016 season. And the story details, including which characters would appear in each episode, has not been disclosed yet, but still, the mind just kind of is boggled over the possibilities as to what they're going to do. And this is like a really weird crossover.
Yeah.
Because obviously Sleepy Hollow exists in the world of the supernatural, but there has been nothing, to my knowledge, of a supernatural bent that's happened in Bones. And if there has been, it's always been explained through science.
Well, but they work for the Jefferson Institute.
Ooh. Good call. I hadn't considered that.
Yes.
Okay. I think you're onto something there. So moving on to something that has a lot of intrigue, to something which I know is going to absolutely make Keith positively sick. I got to talk about Doctor Who and their new season.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Jenna Coleman has hinted.
Shut up! Shut up!
Do you get the feeling he really doesn't want me to talk about this? But I have to talk about it, even just a little bit. Because speaking at Comic-Con in San Diego about the Season 9 tone of Doctor Who, Jenna Louise Coleman told TMS, I wouldn't say rompy, but a lot more seizing the moment and adrenaline fueled. I think rompy is...
My button's not working. My button's not working.
Imagine that. Because, the nature of some of the episodes are not... but there are some darker ones. Wow, she really doesn't have a complete thought here, does she? I'm sorry, I'm being mean. She revealed there are some really provoking episodes, actually. I suppose something that has a relevance to some kind of stuff happening today. Really interesting, makes you think, kind of provoking. It feels like new kind of episode of Doctor Who. I mean, maybe more political. Now, if anybody who's ever heard Jenna Louise Coleman speak, she talks at 120 miles an hour, or maybe like 120 words a minute. So it's no wonder that the sentence structure was a bit fragmented. But in any case, take that as you will. I'm very leery already. I hate to say it. I mean, I'll watch it because I have to watch it. But already I'm still kind of yearning for the days of the fun Doctor Who that we used to have. So
Yeah.
now everybody has heard that X-Files is coming back.
X-Files.
X-Files, and they've added 2 cast members to the show, and those are Robbie Amell, who everybody knows as Ronnie Raymond. At least I know him as Ronnie Raymond from Flash.
Yeah.
Other people may think of him as, from the TV series The Duff, but I know him from The Flash. But this other one has me interested. Lauren Ambrose, she was in 6 Feet Under. Do you remember her? She was the younger sister of the Morgue family, the Morgue family, as I like to call them.
Yeah.
She played Claire Fisher. And I don't think she's really done a whole heck of a lot. I mean, she had been in something called Dig, but still, she's kind of kept a low profile. So to see her come back and kind of take on a role in a very high-profile series, I think is kind of interesting.
Could be fun.
It could be a lot of fun. She is going to be playing Agent Einstein, and Robbie Amell is going to be playing Agent Miller, and both obviously for the FBI. Agent Miller is described as a smart and smooth agent for the FBI, while Einstein is described as confident and sharp. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that maybe they're going to be sort of younger mirrors of Fox Mulder and Dana Scully. Have to wait and see.
Yeah.
And all we've got from Fox is 13 years after the original series run, the next mind-bending chapter of the X-Files will be a thrilling 6-episode event series held by creator executive producer Chris Carter that will star David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson inhabiting their roles. I like how he said inhabiting. I find that funny.
Yeah.
Their roles as Agents Mulder and Scully, and the 6-episode miniseries will begin on January 24th. Oh, it's just in time for your birthday.
Yeah.
How about that? But Agent Scully and Mulder aren't the only ones coming back, because it appears that some fan favorites are also going to be returning, and that will be the Lone Gunman. I'm kind of excited about this, but still at the same time a little weirded out.
They're dead.
They're supposed to be dead. I mean, the conspiracy theorist trio known as the Lone Gunmen, who were first introduced in the X-Men, they
X-Men?
are X-Files. X-Men, X-Files, that was all the same thing. Yeah, cut that out. Anyway, they will be appearing in Fox's 6-episode event series that the EW has confirmed. The gunmen, played by Tom Braidwood, Dean Hagland, and Bruce Harwood, they were EW's picks for who we hope to see. Well, apparently it's really going to happen.
Interesting.
The Lone Gunmen were fan favorites of the original series, and they even had their own short-lived spin-off in 2001, which I really dug, but and I was just shocked that it got canceled, and I'm not entirely sure why, because they were hugely popular among X-Files fans. Their characters did meet a bitter end towards the end of the X-Files 9th season, but then again, so did Cigarette Smoking Man, and he's coming back as well. So it remains to be seen how the gunmen are going to factor into this revival, but the series could adhere to the official season 10 comics, which executive series producer creator Chris Carter has revealed, stating that they faked their own deaths. We'll have to wait and see. I'm kind of excited about it, so kind of just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Now, for the last story, I say this one for last for a really, really good reason. We here at TG Geeks really do our best to try and vet stories to make sure that whatever it is that gets reported here is as authentic as possible. Having said that, here's a story from Epic Stream that says NBC to reboot Xena, Warrior Princess with Lucy Lawless.
What?
Yes. And according
Xena Warrior Queen or something.
it's more like Xena Warrior Octogenarian, I'm kind of guessing.
She's not that old. She still looks pretty good.
Well, that's true. We have seen her in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she didn't look too bad. So
Yeah,
she
but
was
she's
pretty
not-
active.
I wouldn't say princess anymore.
No, Princess is asking a bit too much. Anyway, original executive producers Rob Tapert, I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced, and Sam Raimi, they are involved with the upcoming series, which is referred to as a modern reboot. Sources with THR also indicate that insiders want the star Lucy Lawless to be involved both in front and behind the cameras. Now, having said that, Lucy Lawless took to social media herself, and she had kind of a lot to say about this because, well, apparently it's not happening. It was never supposed to happen. She simply put on Twitter, "Sorry, friends. News of a Xena reboot is just a rumor. I'd love for it to happen one day, but it's still in the wishful thinking stage." So there it is. There is no Xena reboot. Turns out that someone decided to publish their story and be a little bit, I don't know. They're kind of
wishful thinking.
Well, I think they were a little trigger happy, to be honest, thinking that, oh, this is a big scoop of a story. Let's jump on it while we can.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the dangerous things about what it is that we do here in trying to report the news. We want to be the ones, we want to be the first to say, look at what I've got here. And I know that a lot of, a lot of news organizations are kind of...
a lot of times it happens to be...
Yeah, and luckily, I was able to find that breaking news announcement before we reported on the Lucy Lossless.
Lucy Lossless.
Loosely lossless. Yeah, very loosely lossless. Before the Xena reboot. See how I omitted her name? So we try to make sure that the stories we report are as accurate as possible. But again, because we want to be the first ones to get it out there, sometimes we jump the gun just a little bit too fast. So there we have it. No Xena reboots, but I can pretty well say that everything else that we reported here today is pretty much spot on, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, up next week, who knows what we'll have next week? We might have an exciting interview for you. You never know.
But the shadow knows.
The shadow knows. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We might have several links on the page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.